Yo, this Carl from Detroit.
What's up, bro? We're talking about, were you raised on rape culture, man?
No, man. Hey, what's going on, Envy? See the guy, Yee? No, I wasn't raised like that, man. You know, when lines was drawn, man, we always knew right from wrong, you know. Granted, we might have had a little fun back in the day playing around.
No, my brother.
What do you mean by a little fun?
What was fun?
Explain what that is.
Fun. No, okay, listen. Not fun, like I say, man. You know, in school and everything, I might have grabbed the butter too, but when girls.
Okay.
Ryan and Dean, you're both sitting here shaking your head when I said it's a bad song. You're rolling your eyes at me. There's a second version of this video where the women are all naked.
Seen it.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure you have seen it.
I'm doing research before I come on.
Oh,
I didn't enjoy it.
I'm sure. Okay. So, you know, the things continue here. You know, I know you want it, but you're a good girl. I know you want it. I'm not going to read all the words. They get much more
graphic,
direct than that. Is this promoting rape?
Honestly, I don't think so at all. And playful, I think it's the song, it's upbeat and catchy, and it's fun. Sex sells, and if this was at all advocating rape or violence against women, I would be outspoken against it.
Beyond the glamour and glitz of Tinseltown, this morning more women in Hollywood are coming forward with claims about the kind of men Molly Ringwald calls all the other Harvey Weinsteins.
Happens everywhere, that it's not just Hollywood, that it's not just actresses, that it's women on Wall Street, it's women in a hospital, it's caretakers, it's women walking down the street.
I was affected by Larry. He did hurt me, and he hurt hundreds of other young women. He took away my innocence, and that is something I will never be able to get back. I will not take my own life. I'm going to take it back. Well, I will never get back those years of mental suffering.
Now to Bill Cosby under siege. Those allegations he sexually assaulted a number of women in the past are in the headlines again, raising questions about the reputation and career of this American icon.
I had one glass of wine, and the next thing I knew, I was coming to, slumped over the toilet. I was sick, I was confused, I was foggy. I had really no idea what was happening.
Campaign was so wild the other night to see Me Too trending, and when I first saw it, my arm went numb.
In the wake of the Harvey Weinstein scandal, millions of women sharing their own stories online, saying sexual harassment and assault isn't just a problem for Hollywood. We're going to
in one of the most high-profile sexual assault cases in recent American history.
The damage you inflicted is irreversible.
On January 18, 2015, Brock Turner, then a student at Stanford University, was arrested on 5 charges of rape after being found outside a campus party with an intoxicated, unconscious woman. The charges of rape were later dropped, but in March 2016, Turner was convicted of 3 charges of felony sexual assault, including assault with intent to rape. Turner was presented as a promising swimmer first and as a convicted criminal second.
There is now nowhere left for you to hide, Larry.
More than 160 women say Larry Nassar sexually abused them. It's one of the worst sexual abuse scandals in the history of sports. And it went on for more than 2 decades.
USA Gymnastics.
Nassar had celebrity-like status in the elite gymnastics and sports medicine world. USA Gymnastics gave him countless awards, he was inducted into Michigan State University's Hall of Fame, and governors appointed him to state licensing boards. Nassar typically carried out his abuse under the guise of a medical treatment. He hijacked a rare pelvic therapy that involves vaginal penetration and used it to treat all sorts of ailments. He ignored protocols such as using a glove, asking consent, or having a medical chaperone present.
And when I was 14 years old, I tore my hamstring in my right leg. This was when he started performing the procedure that we are all now familiar with.
The next visit was for my shoulder, which I then found out my hips were out of alignment, which then made my spine and my pelvic bone out of alignment as well. And this is when Larry decided that it was medically acceptable to violate a 16-year-old girl.
Nassar said patients may have misunderstood his therapy. Medical colleagues deferred to his expertise. After a 2014 investigation cleared his name, Nassar was just reminded to follow procedures.
Look, I want to show you something. It's really cool. You could touch it, it's okay. Every incident is as if he got bolder and bolder until one day he was bold enough to take my virginity. Afterwards, it was as if nothing had happened. She kept asking me the same question over and over. Are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't a fantasy? Maybe you were dreaming. My mother was my only witness. She could have made up for all those years that I had lost. This is her time to stick up for me and to really fight for me, and she didn't.
And I remember we were just wrestling, and then all of a sudden, he pulled down my pants and penetrated. It's not like he wore a sign saying I'm a sexual predator. He was that cool uncle. I mean, it definitely was psychological, because I thought that was the way he loved me, without fully realizing, even at 14, 15, to step back and say, that's wrong. I think there's a stigma attached to it that, oh, you're a man, you should be able to fend him off.
Do you think there are double standards when it comes to sexual assault? For example, do you think that rape has to meet certain classifications for opposite genders?
I do believe there's double standards because if a girl wears a short skirt, she's just asking for trouble. But you don't really ever hear many guys getting raped because they're never going to report that they got raped by a female.
How do you define victim blaming?
Victim blaming is when, just say I got on a skirt, like a dress, like some booty shorts, you know. I could be on the beach, you know, having a nice day, and some dude comes to me and say, oh, like, something inappropriately, and I get offended. Like, basically, it's not okay. I should be able to wear what I want without being harassed or assaulted.
Okay, and my second question is, can women be rapists?
Women could be rapists, but most of the time it's mostly men, but it can be females too. They vary.
Okay. Victims of sexual assault, harassment, and rape were silenced for years and told that they were mistaken, that they had not been assaulted, harassed, or raped. Do you think this is a problem? If so, where should the world go next?
The world is already going in the right direction with the Me Too movement. Women are definitely speaking out, and they're having their time to be heard. And I hope it continues.
If it remains a hashtag and it remains a movement, then it's gonna die. It's gotta become a part of our lives, that women should no longer be in silence about sexual assault. It's a crime.
So at this point, talk is worthless to me. We're dealing with real lives in the future of our sport. We need to believe this won't happen again. For this sport to go on, we need to demand real change, and we need to be willing to fight for it. It's clear now that if we leave it up to these organizations, history is likely to repeat itself. To know what changes are needed requires us to understand what exactly happened and why it has happened. This is a painful process, but it's the only way to identify all the factors that contributed to this problem and how they can be avoided in the future. This is the only way to learn from these mistakes and make gymnastics a safer sport. If ever there was a need to fully understand a problem, it is this one right now.
All have lived too many years in a culture broken by brutally powerful men. For too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men. But their time is up.